Welcome to our congregation. This congregation welcomes all people regardless of their age, religion, race, nationality, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or expression, or anything else that has been used to divide people. We're a group of people with our own opinions, our own ideas, our own dreams, but we share ideals. We share a common belief in a liberal religion. In our discussions, we may disagree with each other, but we must always remember that what unites us is stronger than what separates us. We must always end a service aware of the love that we have for each other. If you have announcements, please submit them to Mike, our administrative assistant, so they can get in the newsletter, the midweek notes, and the order of service as needed. If anyone is visiting us this way for the first time, welcome, and I hope that you get in touch if you're interested, and I hope that you can come and see us in person when that's possible again. Our prelude today is performed by Bill and Glenda Breeden.
A little song for you.
There is a river that flows from deep within. There is a fountain that eases all your pain. Drink from this fountain, there is a vast supply. Love is the river that never shall run dry.
Sing it with us.
There is a river that flows from deep within. There is a fountain that eases all your pain. Drink from this fountain, there is a vast supply. Love is the river and never shall run dry. There is a river that flows from deep within. There is a fountain that eases all your pain. Drink from this fountain, there is a vast supply. Love is the river and never shall run dry.
Each week, we look a little bit at one of the 7 principles of the Unitarian Universalist Association. This week, we have come to the 3rd principle, and I'm going to read it out, not just the principle, but the framing text, so that it says, "We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth in our congregations. That encouragement is important when we are together and vital when we must be apart. We all chose to come into this congregation because we wanted a community, and we need a community now more than ever." I'd like to chalice myself this week, and we can sing Rise Up, O Flame. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, bring to us beauty, vision, and joy. Our opening words today are by Diego Valeri, An Eye for Miracles. You who have an eye for miracles, regard the bud now appearing on the bare branch of the fragile young tree. It's a mere dot, a nothing. But already it's a flower, already a fruit, already its own death and resurrection. Once again, I invite the organist and organ and choir of the First Church in Jamaica Plain, Massachusetts, Unitarian Universalist, to play the affirmation for us. is number 61 in the gray hymnal, Lo, the Earth Awakes Again.
Lo, the earth awakes again. Alleluia. From the winter's bond and pain. Alleluia. Bring relief and flower and spring. Alleluia. To adorn this happy day. Alleluia. Once again the world comes true. Alleluia. All the earth shall be made new. Alleluia. Now the dark cold days are o'er. Alleluia. Spring and gladness are before. Alleluia. Change the mourning into praise. Alleluia. And for dirges anthems raise. Alleluia. Our spirits soar and sing. Alleluia. Our hearts leap with the spring. Alleluia.
Thank you to everyone who has continued to pay their pledge. We still have bills to pay, we're still paying some wages. Business of the congregation goes on. Thank you also to everyone who's participated in the Cup of Tea fundraiser. Of course, we won't be having in-person fundraisers for a while, and that's part of the budget as well. Notice that you can mail checks to the P.O. box that's listed on the front of the order of service that you will have gotten in your email, or that you can find in other church materials. This is a paradoxical time. Some can and now must do their jobs from home. Some already worked at home. Some must go out and do essential jobs that are more dangerous than staying home, and some are unemployed. We must remember that in this particular situation, staying home is not lazy, that emergency benefits are not giveaways or perks, but compensation for people doing their duty to society, even though it means they can't earn their usual income. We must also remember that the impulse we might feel to go out and work in solidarity with those who must work would end up making those essential jobs more dangerous, so that we must offer our thanks from a distance. We must find other ways to support each other and our neighbors with whatever resources we have, whether that is money, talents, or simply putting a sign in the window or waving to the neighbor across the street. As we saw last week, this congregation has a deep pool of talent that can be employed to comfort and to inspire, like the singers in the old hymn, singers sweetly gifted, whose music like a mighty wind the hearts of all uplifted. At this time we remember all those who have a sorrow and cannot meet friends and family to grieve, all those who have a joy they might feel awkward about sharing amid so much worry and sadness, and all those who feel a loneliness that the telephone and the computer can't fully repair. Let us now in silence take a few moments for reflection.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to
Our
me,
transitional words are by
come
Max C.
to
Coops. They are
me.
numbered 627, Seasons of the Self, in the Gray Hymnal, and we will read them responsively. I will read the Roman text, and you who have copies will please read the italicized text. We are about halfway down the second page of the script. Here at home it might be different for you out there. We need a celebration that speaks the spring-inspired word about life and death.
About youth as we live and die.
Through all the cycling seasons, days, and years.
We need the sense of
Sense
destiny to crack our own hard brown
December husks.
And push life out of inner tombs and outer pain.
Unless we move the seasons of the self,
and spring can come for us.
The winter will go on and on.
And Easter will remain a myth,
And life will never come again, despite the fact of spring.
Our sermon today is written by Dottie Stone. I'll read it for her. It is Reflections on the Easter Holiday 2020 from a Distance. I sit at my computer on a sunny morning that gives no clues to the sadness reflected in the news on every media. I'm filled with memories of past years as I try to find words to put meaning into this time of the greatest destruction of human lives worldwide that I have ever known. I am old enough to remember the war that was supposed to end all wars, World War II. I can remember how we gathered in the streets and pounded on homemade noisemakers to celebrate that it was finally over and the boys would be coming home. Rationing was going to end, and that thing called the duration was over. We wanted to believe that life would be better, and the world would be a better place. We could not see all the wars that were yet to come, nor the progress that would also come to create a world that would be different, but still remain the same some 75 years later. I am among the fortunate that are still alive as person after person leaves this earthly planet. I am among those who still have a home in spite of tornado and storm damage that created havoc on communities I once called home. I am among those who have a cupboard and freezer full of food while parents are lining up at food distribution sites to receive enough bags of food to keep their children fed a few more days. Because of my age and work history, I have a steady income and can pay my bills, while the numbers increase of those who are seeking unemployment compensation because their jobs no longer exist. So what does Easter have to do with this time of great sadness and sorrow? Do the ancient stories and customs still have meaning as we see the world wrapped in a blanket of sadness and despair? The trees blooming outside my window give me one answer. They keep coming back in a regular pattern and time no matter what else goes on inside my house. The abundance of violets in our yard seems like a renewal of beauty along with the dandelions who won't take no for an answer. Even as some of the rose bushes didn't survive the winter and a giant pine tree will soon be gone from the backyard, the daffodils keep multiplying to remind me that life does go on. The persistence of the birds and squirrels to empty the feeders remind me of determination to survive and how much we depend on each other to make it possible. The splashes of red on cardinal and woodpecker cheer my spirits and remind me that life still has much beauty whenever I take time to see and appreciate it. Somehow the Easter season is wrapped around all the beauty of nature for me, I remember the custom of Easter bonfires when I lived in Germany, and I remember bringing twigs and stalks into my home to watch them unfold. I remember tying eggs on trees and how all those customs came to America to become part of our Easter celebration. These customs were all from our pagan ancestors, but they became part of my Easter celebration just as much as the traditions of the Christian culture. Later, I would add remembrance of sacred traditions from the Jewish holy days as I became even more inclusive in my understanding of the world around me. I would never have believed that I would be facing a time of voluntary isolation and social distancing, especially at this time of year. But here I am trying to save my world by not doing. Seems so strange to me, but I have faith that this time period will end, and I can once more engage in activities in the outside world, as well as outside my window. Meanwhile, I have memories of sitting in church for 3-hour services on Fridays, and rising early on Sunday morning to meet with others in a park or a hillside to share the stories of my childhood traditions. And as an adult, I have memories of dyeing eggs in multicolors and stuffing plastic eggs with candy to hide for children to find amidst the grass and weeds. And I have memories of sharing with friends in delicious brunch celebrations after the traditional church service, complete with some new clothes and even a few Easter bonnets. St. Patrick's Day and Easter holiday napkins and plates will remain in the drawer at church for use at another brunch. Friends will find a way to connect across the miles. The stories of Easter and interpretations of them will continue to arise every year. The trees will bloom again, and perhaps we will become even more appreciative of one another when the year 2020 becomes another story we can tell. I believe in the power of resurrection stories and the importance of our telling and retelling our stories. Let's keep on believing and supporting one another. This is my Easter wish for all of you in 2020. The Reverend Dottie Stone. Our closing hymn is number 344, A Promise Through the Ages Rings. closing words, number 628, rolling away the stone, are also designed to be read responsively. I will again read the Roman type, and you can read the italics. We'll see if we can't get the Roman and italics on the screen so that you can follow along. In the tomb of the soul, we carry secret yearnings, pains, frustrations, loneliness, fears, regrets, worries.
In the tomb of the soul, we take refuge from the world and its heaviness.
In the tomb of the soul, we wrap ourselves in the security of darkness.
Sometimes this is a comfort, sometimes it is an escape.
Sometimes it prepares us for existence. Sometimes it insulates us from life.
Sometimes this tomb life gives us time to feel the pain of the world and reach out to heal others. Sometimes it numbs us and locks us up with our own concerns.
In this season where light and darkness balance the day, we seek balance for ourselves.
Grateful for the darkness that has nourished us, we push away the stone and invite the light to awaken us to the possibilities within us and among us, possibilities for new life in ourselves and in our world.
Now sing our benediction. May the blessings of love rest upon you. May peace abide with you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. Go in peace. Know that you are loved and that your life is sacred. And since you can't join us for an egg hunt or a coffee hour, why don't you call up a friend?